and we're with Aquatic Adventures in Roanoke, Virginia, and today we're going to talk to you about how to blow bubbles while swimming. When we swim, blowing bubbles essentially is just exhaling the breath that you've taken in. We don't want to get too worked up about it, and you don't want to make it a more complicated process than it is. It's as simple as Karina taking a breath, putting her face in the water, and exhaling the breath. It's going to blow bubbles for you, and that's really all we do. To practice blowing bubbles, you can just be in this position, take a nice easy breath, and slowly exhale in the water. What you want to remember when blowing bubbles in the water and blowing bubbles while you're swimming is we don't walk down the street and breathe and then exhale our breath very quickly. We breathe the natural breathing and it's fairly slow. Well, we're doing the same thing when we swim. We want a slow exhalation of our breath so that we don't blow out all of our air and then we're struggling to get a breath again before we're ready for it. So what you want to do sometimes is practice counting. Take your breath in, put your face in the water, and slowly exhale while counting to 3 or 5, and then try it again. Find a good rhythm for you, find what makes you comfortable, and then continue with that pattern. Eventually you'll be swimming and you won't even be thinking about it. I'm Mary, and that's how to blow bubbles while swimming.
That should be followed in order to perform the front float effectively. Hold your breath, look down towards the bottom of the pool, and relax your muscles. The more air you have in your lungs, the easier and more buoyant your body will be. Lower your eyes to look at the floor directly below your head. This will straighten your spine, allowing your hips to rise to the surface of the water. After successfully floating on your front, you will need to make sure to dismount from your float correctly.
Stretch your arms if you want to glide. Stretch your arms if you want to glide. Glue your legs straight. Glides are great. Get ready to Superman glide. 1, 2, 3, 4, and glide.
To start off, we can use a noodle to learn front glides. Push off and keep your legs together straight out behind you. Without the noodle, make sure your arms are straight out in front at the surface of the water. Glide with your face in the water between your arms, like you're looking right down to the bottom.
To begin breaststroke, you need to keep your body flat and lie face down in the water, aiming to keep your body as straight as possible from your head to your hips. There are 3 steps in the arm movement: the catch, the pull, and the recovery. To start the catch, extend your arms out in front of you with your hands pitched outwards ever so slightly. Now, keeping your elbows high, sweep your arms outwards, focusing on catching as much water as possible with your hands. This moves you into the pull phase, where you accelerate your arms backwards, continuing your hold on the water until your hands and forearms sweep inwards in front of your body. The whole action is often referred to scooping your hands around a large bowl. Then, with your elbows tucked in, extend your arms to the front of the stroke through the recovery, keeping them as close together as possible. A nice drill to isolate and focus on the arms is to swim breaststroke with a butterfly dolphin kick. Wearing fins can make this easier whilst also helping you to find a nice rhythm. As with all strokes and exercise, the breathing is a crucial element. This delivers oxygen to your muscles and helps you to swim more comfortably and efficiently. So as your arms start the pull phase, this is when you should lift your head out of the water and breathe in through your mouth. The pull action should naturally lift your body to a degree, forcing your head out anyway. Try to keep your head and shoulders relaxed throughout and free from tension. Then, as you extend your arms forward on the recovery phase, submerge your head back into the water and exhale slowly through your mouth or through your nose. The breaststroke kick can be a difficult skill to master, but having a strong kick will really help to propel you through the stroke, particularly when you are recovering your arms forward. So starting with your heels as close to your bottom as possible, almost like a frog, you should flex your feet, pulling your toes towards your shins. Then extend your legs outwards and backwards, focusing on pushing the water backwards with the soles of your feet. At the end of the kick, as your legs straighten and your ankles come together, point to your toes, almost aiming to get the soles of your feet together. Then to complete the recovery phase of the kick, bend your legs, keeping your knees as close together as possible while bringing your heels back up towards your bottom. To focus on the kick, you can also use a kickboard to isolate your legs and
of this technique. Remember, water is really dense. When you swim through this medium that is 800 times more dense than air, it's really important that you really optimize your efficiency and reduce drag. You know, when you swim freestyle or any stroke, there's only two ways you can actually get faster. The first one is by reducing drag. The second is by increasing propulsion. So when we talk about the freestyle stroke and what you do with your head and your hands and your feet, we're either doing one of those two things. We're trying to reduce our drag or we're trying to increase propulsion. Now let's talk about our head position to start, because at the end of the day, our body position is what determines how fast we move through the water. If we lift our head up when we swim, our hips are gonna sink and we're gonna create more drag. So like I mentioned, we're trying to reduce our drag so we can swim faster. That starts with our head position. Focus on swimming with your eyes on the bottom of the pool, and really the water line should be at the middle of your head. So half your head is underwater, half your head is above the water. And if you can do that, then your hips are gonna ride high in the water and you're not gonna have a lot of drag. You wanna feel like you're swimming downhill. Similarly, when you take a breath, you want to rotate your head to the side and try and keep one eye and one ear underneath the surface of the water. If you lift your head up to take a breath, your hips are going to sink and you're going to go slower. When you swim with your arms, you want to make sure that your arm enters the water at 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock in front of your shoulders, just outside your shoulders. And this will allow you to have the most optimal hand entry. You want to enter the water with your middle finger first, and then you want to reach and extend on that same line with your shoulder. Then when you start to pull, you want to make sure you have what's called an early vertical forearm, EVF. And that basically means that from your middle finger all the way through to your elbow, it's a nice big paddle. You want to be pulling the water with more than just your hands. You want to pull the water with your hand, your forearm, and your entire arm. So the early vertical forearm is really important to master. Now let's talk about your legs. What do your legs do when you do freestyle? You're going to do the flutter kick. So your feet are going to be pointed, point your toes. Your legs are going to be relatively straight, minimal knee bend. You're going to be kicking short and fast using your hip flexors, your glutes, and your hamstrings. Keep your legs pretty straight, and the amplitude of your kick should be no more than half a meter in total size. Now the final thing I want to talk about with the freestyle stroke is make sure you have what's called rotational momentum. This means that your hips are rotating and your body's rotating side to side to maximize your distance per stroke. So after your hand hits the water and your fingertips extend in through that water, you're gonna really try and stretch as far as you can to maximize your distance per stroke. So when we put that all together, we have a stroke that we call freestyle or front crawl that is the most efficient of all 4 competitive strokes.
Learn how to improve your stroke technique for a faster, more efficient swim. With your arms in the water and elbows positioned high, begin the arm pull by pressing down with your forearms to catch and pull back the water. Holding the water, maintain a high elbow position and accelerate your arms through the water, pointing your fingers towards the bottom of the pool. As you pull, aim to keep your hands inside your body line. Push backwards with your hands as you move into the back of the stroke, accelerating your hands up and out of the water into the recovery phase. In a relaxed